Humanoid podcast.
This time, welcome for real. This is episode 120, part one, the Amber Alert podcast. Sorry about my slow start there. I literally thought that my whole mic was like trash all of a sudden, that it was disconnected. I unplugged it, plugged it back in, come to find out the only problem was I had accidentally hit the mute button. But now that it made me panic, I'm sweating. My hair's a disgusting mess. It's fine. But being a type A person, it really does irritate me to not start on the nose when I said I was going to, because I don't like to be unreliable. All right. As I was trying to say that apparently was muted the whole time, this is part one. So this is news, which I don't enjoy, but it's important to know what's going on. Part two, we are going to talk about DUMBs, which is, it means deep underground military bases, but not just that, also why certain mountains have been hollowed out and what some of the stuff people report here. Okay, so people report hearing, I'm not even going to get into it now, a certain sound. And I believe it's real because I think I have also heard it when I was a teenager. I just had no grid for it. So I just thought it was weird and lived my life. And then I found out in later years, there's an actual thing and there's a word for it. We'll get into that in part two. It also has to do with data centers. And then part three will be the Bible section, which is always my favorite. And I want to talk about how God hates unbelief. And your unbelief literally limits him. And if you think, oh, how dare you? It's literally in the Bible. So we'll do that in part three. But without further ado, since I'm already 12 minutes behind, let's do the news. All right. So there was a family that was searching for seashells during a Jersey Shore vacation when they discovered a megalodon tooth hidden in a rocky crevice. Experts later confirmed the remarkable find was genuine. I don't know if I believe that. I'm not saying that what they found isn't real, but I don't really know if I believe sharks that big lived, because they can't even, like, it's pretty much like a guess. What I looked up is correct, like sharks don't fossilize quite like other like because they have soft bones, or I don't know, something like that. So what they've gathered and put together is sort of a guess what they think would have been a massive shark, and they are guessing at the size of it based on what they think are teeth. So I don't know, that almost sounds like some evolution garbage to me, but I'm sure that would still be exciting to find on the beach. Next, who's this guy? Oh, Reverend Adam Hamilton, full of estrogen, told the vaccine hesitant members of his church that getting a COVID shot would be an act of discipleship, and insinuated they weren't loving their neighbors. That, I believe, is what you call spiritual abuse. But let me find the video. It's very short. We're just going to hear what this, I almost said a word I probably shouldn't have said, person. See what this full of estrogen person has to say once everything loads, because now I have to start over since I had a mess up at the beginning. It's fine. Take your time, computer. No problem. We're not waiting or anything.
Look, I'm just going to reiterate, if you haven't been vaccinated, I want to encourage you as an act of discipleship to be vaccinated, to protect other people, unless you have some reason, some really good health reason why you can't. This is about loving our neighbor. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said, look,
I think reason enough is if people don't want to take it because they developed it in like 8 months, and no vaccines are developed that fast. Ebola literally took 5 years and set a record at the time. And then we're all supposed to just blindly trust us, trust the science. It's funny because like I said, I don't know if actually I did say it because I was on mute. TikTok is like kicking me off, which is whatever. But it's funny that one of the videos they took down is medically verified. You can literally go read a PubMed article. Multiple medical professionals collaborated And so it's like that kind of garbage. Trust the science, okay? So then here's the science for this miracle, and not that science though. Oh, okay. So it's only science if it suits a particular narrative that you want to push. Anyway, next. Just in, researchers find AI agents can infect one another with self-propagating mind viruses that spread ideas, goals, and behavioral changes from agent to agent. All right, so that one video I did on what's his face, Tony Robbins, about, first of all, okay, for every idiot, because it got like over 1 million views on TikTok. I don't know why it blew up so much, but for every dummy who's like, this isn't true. Okay, if you think Tony Robbins made it up, that's fine. You don't have to believe him, but don't act like I made it up. I'm so sick of people in comments who clearly, they literally act like they don't know how to use the internet, but they do because they're on it as they leave their comment. I don't believe this. It would take you 2 seconds to type in your little query and ask. Go find out what the internet has to say. I don't just make stuff up. It's one thing if I get duped, I shared something I thought was true and it wasn't, which if I find out, I'll say, I'll retract it. Oh, I thought this was real and it's not. But don't act like I'm just like making stuff up. First of all, who has time for that? I don't. So if you're like, I've never heard of this before, just because you've never heard of something before doesn't mean it isn't real or isn't true. It just means you didn't know about it until now, which happens every day for me. I learn stuff every single day. I hate the worst thing, literally the worst thing that people could have is the ability to comment. And now that everyone's so used to doing it, I think if we took away that feature, like if social media stayed, okay, and you could still upload or post whatever you want, but people couldn't comment, I think they'd probably kill themselves. People explode. It's honestly like, it's almost like it's demonic because it's like this pressure comes over people and they literally cannot get like relief from it until they say something and lash out. They literally cannot control themselves. They have to say something. Like I see stuff every day I think is stupid and that I don't agree with. And I'm just like, and I scroll by it and I sleep fine at night. So I don't know what everyone's problem is. It's just an interesting time to be alive. And I think too, social media has given people who have like never been respected. They've never been like recognized. And so like now, and it, because usually like the biggest idiots hide behind profiles that like aren't even real. They have no actual picture. It's like an avatar or no picture. And they're a big man, behind their phone or a computer. And I think probably it's like the one chance they have to like get recognition. Look at what I'm going to say that's so smart. People will be impressed by me. And it's like, I'm guessing you're trying to make up for something that's never happened in life. So instead of getting like the therapy you need, you're just lashing out on social media. But hey, get it off your chest. Whatever you got to do, get it off your chest. It's a safe space. Next. Detroit public schools are paying students up to $100 per week for having perfect weekly attendance. No, this is not a joke. This is where your tax dollars being spent. I would have liked for that to exist when I was in school. I'd have been making bank because I always had good attendance. In Detroit, not surprising. Next. I'm going to blow this up. Black Christian pastor just torched the entire Muslim-occupied Dearborn City Council. This is Sharia law. You are only 1% of this nation. We are not a nation of Muslims. We are a nation of Christians. Enough is enough. I like this guy. This is Lorenzo Sewell. I don't know how to say his last name. He spoke at Trump's inauguration. He spoke at the 250 whatever like thing we had in, that was like before July, I think. The to celebrate America's 250th, he spoke there. He's anointed. He has fire. So let me hear what he has to say. I haven't listened to this yet.
Opportunity to pray over the
start over.
Pastor Lorenzo Sewell. I have the honor and the privilege of being the senior pastor of 180 Church, where President Donald Trump came for his birthday weekend. It was there that I had an opportunity to pray over the president. And it was at that moment that he told me I would pray at the inauguration and I would be able to preach at the rededication.
That's it.
The reason why I'm here today, because Dearborn, in all of your prosperity and everything that you've done, the spirit of Hubbard is still in this city. The spirit of racism still dwells in this city. This is a city that has prospered with your mosque and your call to prayer, but yet it's on the back of my people. It's on the back of black people that we have funded everything you do. You look down on us. Your police enact injustice on us. And when Jake Lane talked about Jesus, he was assaulted because you are not up under American law. You are up under Sharia law. That is the reason why you have made no arrest. You laugh. You are 3 generations of racism in this very city. You know it. You have seen what has happened in this city. And it is my people that have funded you. It's my people that made sure that you have what you had. And you spit on us, you degrade us, but you're only 1% of this nation. We are not a nation of Muslims. We are a nation of Christians. We are one nation under God, indivisible, the God of the Bible, the God of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Let's go.
That's the God in whom we serve. I want you to prove to me we're not up under Sharia law. Will you denounce, Councilman O'Reilly, will you denounce Sharia law? Will you denounce Sharia law? Will you denounce, I know you won't. Will you denounce Sharia law? Abraham, you went to Hillsdale. Will you renounce Sharia law? Will you renounce Sharia law? America, we have lost this city. This is a city that is no longer up under American laws. We are up under Sharia law, and we will not have it anymore.
Remaining.
Enough is enough.
Let's go. So he's not, I mean, great job, but he's not the only one who's been doing that, going to the city council meetings, because they literally have to let you talk. So as much as they may hate what you're saying, they have to give you your time, which is why people are going there. Hello, greetings from YouTube. Wait, wrong platform. What platform are we talking about? Hello, Solid Deer, whatever your name is. Sorry. Anyway, great job, Pastor Sewell, if I said that right. Next. All right, what do we got here? DOJ issues grand jury subpoenas, whether other, okay. So there are 2 Dan Sullivans that are on the ballot for, there's an act. So one of them's a Republican. I think the other one is, well, maybe he's running as a Republican too. Anyway, 2 people with the same name. And so now they're looking into, was this person, did they run only so they could confuse voters when they go to vote? They're like, wait a minute, which one is the one that I want to vote for? And the same thing happened in Alaska and maybe other places too. So I'm guessing that is what's going on. Like, unless it's a strange coincidence, you have 2 people with the same name, but I'm guessing it probably is deliberate in an attempt to confuse voters. Next. The CNN guy. So the Democrat Party is being taken over by socialists. I don't know if I would say that. They're trying, but I think there are still lots of Democrats who they're not socialists and they don't actually want to go that direction. Some people that are, what is that? That's not even what I want. Some people who are left leaning are not socialists. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know that I'd say it's taking over, although it is moving in. Let me see if I can pull up the video. This guy's the only reason CNN should stay on the air. I like this guy a lot.
Are these wins happening? Is there a specific area, or what are you seeing with the numbers?
Yeah, okay, you might just say, oh, this is just a phenomenon in the Northeast. This is part of the Acela corridor. This is just an urban phenomenon. No, not really. I mean, take a look here. Where DSA candidates won primaries for Congress, they're all Democrats. Yeah, you got 3 in New York, but you got 2 in Michigan. You got 1 in Colorado. You got one in Florida last night running for the Senate, and you got one in Pennsylvania. So this is not just a Northeast phenomenon in terms of these DSA candidates who are winning primaries. Yes, they are primarily in urban areas, but they are happening across the map, from the Northeast to the Midwest to the Mountain West, and then last night down in the South in Florida. So this is happening across the political map. We are seeing these DSA candidates winning in Democratic primaries. As I said, they are becoming a larger part of the Democratic primary.
Right. So where are these wins happening?
So
Is there a
the
specific area?
lady in Florida, they've already been crunching numbers. She's probably going to get smoked. Like, also too, Florida has a bunch of Latinos who like came from countries with socialism, with communism. So they're like, yeah, we know better. That's the last thing that we're going to vote for. So good luck in Florida. New York is already, wouldn't be surprised there. Michigan, same thing. Even Colorado is interesting because they have that Victor Marks running. We'll see what happens in Colorado. And what was the other state? Oh, PA. That's oftentimes a coin flip. I think it's a little premature. I do think that's what they're pushing for, but I still think there's a lot of resistance to it. So, we'll see how things will shake out. Next. What do we got here? Harvard will pay $53 million after its longtime morgue manager stole donated corpses and sold their body parts on the black market. That is beyond unethical. Cedric Lodge stole heads, faces, brains, skin, and hands from bodies donated to Harvard Medical School. In one horrifying case, human skin was reported, it was reportedly tanned into leather and bound into a book. What kind of sick devil worshiper thought to do that? Lodge was sentenced to 8 years in prison while his wife received just over a year for helping him. The families accused Harvard of negligence and failing to protect their loved ones' remains. A judge has now preliminarily approved the massive settlement. I don't really think a payout can help. That's like when someone gets like wrongly imprisoned. Like that happened to a guy. I mean, it's happened to a bunch of people, but the one I remember specifically, he might have been from like Georgia or something, and he was in prison for a long time. I mean, like, it may have been more than 20 years. And then they found out that he was wrongly imprisoned. So they were like, that his innocence was proven somehow. So then they're like, we're sorry. Here's some money. Like, okay, I'm glad you tried to do something. But at the same time, you can't really just give him his life back that was spent in prison. So there are some things that it's like such an egregious thing. I don't know how you fix it because some things just aren't fixable. Next. The third party is off to a great start. This is obviously sarcasm because all of those idiots who are in bed with Tucker Carlson lost. It's almost like the Islamic bots that are like fluffing the comments on his X account and everything. It doesn't actually translate to real American votes. Imagine that. Idiots. Next. This story. So 13 Penn State fraternity brothers charged with running a major cocaine trafficking ring with some pledges allegedly forced to cut and package cocaine as part of their indoctrination into the frats. From Penn State to State Penn. Let's go. Now we understand the whiteouts they've got there at Penn State. Really quite a system they had going there. Not anymore, but interesting way of indoctrinating the newcomers to your fraternity. Way to go, guys. Next. I already read that, didn't I? I think I did that first somehow about the big shark tooth or whatever it is. Next. Oh, this chick. God bless her. So the surrogate who refused to abort the baby she was carrying is now being sued by the biological parents who have since taken custody of the child. Nasheen Gilker and Omar Ahmed are suing 28-year-old McKenna West for over $100,000. They're so angry she didn't murder their baby. They're suing her. Imagine this kid growing up and finding out that their parents sued the person who carried them into this world because they were that mad they didn't die in the womb. So West says no to abortion. West gives birth. Parents take custody of the child. Parents sue her for giving birth to that child. Absolutely insane. Yeah, all over the child having a heart defect, which apparently is treatable if what I read is correct. So, all of a sudden the whole my body, my choice crowd, not in her case, right? Next. Justin, UK publishes new behavioral guidelines for asylum seekers, telling them women have equal rights to men and explaining laws around sex, consent, and public behavior. You know what? I'm sure this is going to fix it, guys. I'm sure if they will just read the behavioral guidelines, they'll stop raping people. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, UK, putting together a pamphlet and handing it out is not going to fix it. It's what I don't, that place. I don't know how. The problem is if you all leave, which I would understand if people wanted to leave, then you've essentially just given away your territory. And then they don't have to take it by force. They just pushed everyone out because no one wanted to live with them and get raped and have their daughters raped and stuff. So I get why people leave, but at the same time, then you're only helping their agenda. So really what you have to do is lock it down and put a stop to it and make everybody leave. But the UK doesn't have the balls that America has. They don't have the weapons. They've also probably let it get to a point where I'm not going to say it's impossible, but they're right on the brink of completely losing that entire area. So bad time to be in the UK. Next. Just in, study reveals cannabis addiction is rising among Americans, with about 30% of users now reporting symptoms consistent with cannabis use disorder. Do you mean a drug addiction? Every person I've ever known who was addicted to weed, and like they're great people, like I liked them fine, but it's like they would never admit that they were addicted. I don't know why that's like a thing when it comes to weed. They're like, no, you can't get addicted to weed. I'm like, but don't you smoke it every day and you get like very upset if you can't smoke it, which is like a withdrawal, Yeah, but I'm not addicted. I think you are. I think you are, but for some reason people get pressed when you call it a drug addiction. I actually read through the comments a little bit on that post, which I don't usually do, but people were triggered in the comments. Next, let me blow this up. Oh, this is so funny. I could watch this on a loop all day. So there's a humanoid robot that's training for the Robot Olympics. I didn't even know that was a thing. In Beijing, it runs too fast. It fails to stop. It slams into a safety cushion and breaks at the waist. Watching this is so funny. I'm probably going to play it several times. Wait, where is the video? It's the way that it runs. It's the fact that you can tell it's going to run into something. And then the way it falls and breaks. It's just hilarious. So let me find the video. Here we go. It's so funny. I don't know, like part of it's because of how fast it's running, the way it's running, it looks like an idiot. It has like no head or a tiny head. You can tell it's going to crash, like it's coming, and the way it falls backwards and then just breaks, that's so funny. Although those things have been, as funny as that is, what China has created is like kind of nuts. They developed a robot that they timed it can run faster than Usain Bolt. And another one can jump higher than any human has been recorded jumping. So they're certainly coming along, which, you know, probably isn't good. Next. Let me blow this up so I can read it. Female TikTokers line up for photos with Lindsay Clancy's lawyer like they're at Disneyland. One woman was seen making a duck face while sticking her buttocks out. As she stood next to the child murderer's attorney. It's just one big attention-seeking game to them. People flew in. This was like a couple days ago, and I think even more. People flew in and drove in to go support that woman for killing her 3 kids. I don't believe that she did, is what they're all saying. Whether you believe it or not, I don't know why you would fly across the country to go take a picture with her lawyer. I genuinely can't understand that kind of behavior. Something would have to be extremely personal for me to uproot, like even take 2 or 3 days and go travel someplace and show up at a courthouse or something. I would never do that unless I had to be in court or it was literally like someone very close to me who was in court or something. I don't makes you wonder what kind of things are people like not doing with their lives that they can just drop what they're doing and go do something like that. I don't understand. Next. Just in, Texas woman outraged after Amazon delivery drone drops her package directly into her swimming pool. I'm guessing that's going to be happening a lot more because drones aren't people. And I think a human would know not to drop a package in a swimming pool. So, you know, robots are going to phase out humans, maybe eventually, but not yet, because they're really kind of still doing some things that are very stupid. And you need a person to not, you know, like to show you that that's actually not how we're going to do things. Like even with AI, there are some things, it's improved for sure, but there are some things like I'll tell it to do something and it does like not at all what I asked. I'm like, there's no way you misunderstood. So if you were a person, you would have gotten that right, but you're clearly not there yet. You're just not. Next. Oh, this disgusting sick freak could have told you he was a sexual deviant just by looking at him. Gross. So the FBI confronted disgraced former Democrat Rep. Eric Swalwell at a California airport and seized his electronics as part of an investigation into multiple sexual misconduct allegations. I freaking knew it. They also raided his house in DC and collected additional material for evidence. I tried telling you guys years ago. You can tell by looking at him, he wants to spread diseases. You can just, it's on his face. So not surprised. I hope you rot in prison. Next. What do we got here? Carmelo Anthony's murder. Okay, so there's an appeal. The trial goes down in flames as bombshell. New evidence may destroy his case. Will his conviction get tossed? New evidence reveals Anthony was stalking his ex-girlfriend with text messages, revealing him fantasizing about stabbing someone and licking blood off the blade and being on the verge the day he murdered Austin Metcalf. If he succeeds in getting a new trial, he may end up getting the deserved life in prison instead of 35 years sentence. They threw out the judge if what I read is correct. So they have someone else who's going to look at the case. Everyone's making this about race, but it's literally not about race. It's about what he did, and he could have been any color, any shade, any size, shape, wouldn't have mattered. It's an open and shut case. You can leave the race out of it. You could have swapped the races and it would still be murder. So I'm not sure. And then that makes it even worse if they found those messages. So in fact, that would be worse because if then, since they're trying to revisit it, if that has now come to light, he might get a worse or a longer sentence. Could be life than just what he did get. So that could blow up in his face. Next. What is this? Can't read it. from Officer Tatum. An Idaho coffee shop owner told a pro-life group they were not welcome to hold a meeting at his business before comparing them to the KKK. Okay, so if you don't want babies murdered, then you're equivalent to the KKK. Not really sure how those things translate, but okay. Students for Life members say they had already purchased food and drinks when Idaho Roasters owner Jim Sheehan asked them to leave. Sheehan later admitted the comparison was a mistake, but stood by his decision. So he probably got like people laid into him for that. He now says he and his wife are receiving nonstop death threats, which are never justified. I doubt it. Thing is, I do agree. If it's your business, you're allowed to kick out anybody that you want. If you want to refuse service and it's your business, I think you're allowed to. But you know what? Whatever the consequences are of that, you asked for it. So if it actually ends up tanking your business because you called pro-life students KKK members, then that's on you. You got to act according to how you felt, but that does not mean that you're going to be exempt from the consequences of doing that. So especially Idaho, you could probably get away with that in like New York. I don't know about Idaho, so it might be over for his business, and I don't feel bad. Next. Oh, this isn't even news. The White House posted this. Throwback Thursday, Mario Andretti and POTUS. Okay, so I'm not even playing the video. This just caught my eye because in what year would this have been? 2017? Yeah, 2017, I started a new job. And as I was getting trained, the staff was like, oh, guess what? You're going to get to meet Mario Andretti. And I was like, who is that? And everyone was like, you don't know who Mario Andretti is? I'm like, nope, never heard of him. And apparently he's a very famous race car driver, which I didn't know. So I did end up meeting him. He'd come in once a year, and very, he never really talked. I don't know that I heard him talk at all. He would smile, and that was about it. Very quiet. His assistant would call, and I dealt with her. She was very nice. But anyway, I happened to see that, and I had not thought of him in years because I haven't worked at that job like forever now. But yeah, I just thought it was so funny how people could not believe I didn't know who he was, like I should have. But there are a bunch of pop culture references I also don't know. I actually found out just a couple weeks ago that Will Smith was a rapper. I did not know that. I thought he was just an actor. And then obviously I knew about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song, but I thought that was just a song for like the show. I didn't know he was a full-on rapper. So I'm learning every day. Next. Smoking dead scorpions to get high is a growing problem in Pakistan. I don't even know how that would work. Scorpions are very poisonous. I don't know how you're getting high off of dead ones. Who in the world looked at a dead scorpion and was like, let's smoke it. I bet we'll get high. So see what kind of health complications come from that. Way to go, Pakistan. What is this? Why is this person wrestling a snare drum? I don't know what the devil's going on in this video, but I am going to play it. And we'll just see this weirdness together. I think I saw a little bit of it earlier, but I don't know what I saw. Why is there an audience? I have no idea what that's for, what that's about, why that happened, and why people sat there watching it. Like, if you're demon possessed, just get some help. I don't know what in the world would make a person be like, let's set a drum on a little table. I'm going to put my head on it. I'm going to move it around, and then I'm going to tap the sides of it. Like, if you don't know how to play drums, I don't. So I wouldn't try. I wouldn't do that. I would just leave the drum alone. Gosh, it's a little bit concerning that people like that are loose, meaning they're just out in the community walking around free, and you never know when they're going to do something crazy, because that's unhinged behavior, in my opinion. Next. What do we got here? Former Kentucky cheerleader has pleaded guilty to killing her newborn baby and stuffing him in a trash bag in her closet, claims she was under emotional stress. You are a terrible person. 22-year-old Laken Snelling has admitted to killing her newborn baby by depriving him of oxygen. This is awful. I kind of regret putting this in here because now I have to read it. She said, I was under a lot of emotional stress and my baby came unexpectedly. And instead of helping him, I ended his life. And afterwards, I cleaned up and didn't tell anyone, she said in court. I guess at least she's admitting to it. She has pleaded guilty to manslaughter, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. I didn't know that was its own charge. Concealing the birth of an infant. Will Lindsay Clancy fans raise $1 million for her too? Why not? I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Fly across the country and support her in court as well. All right, last piece of news. Just in, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and other tech giants face lawsuits alleging they used thousands of hours of human voices without permission to train AI. Not surprising. They probably did. I would love to see every single one of those tech giants crumble. Like if they got sued by someone bigger, whoever is, I don't know who's suing them. If it tanked them, that'd be great. I know they're huge. It would take a lot of money, but man, would it be awesome. One can dream, right? All right, I'm done with the news. So we're going to end part 1 in a second. These are the ways to contact, follow. I have not added TikTok to this list, which probably, they're about to kick me off. So what does that matter? What else is not on here? I think everything else is. If you want to follow, subscribe, whatever. And then if you want to support Amber Alert Podcast, those are the ways that you can. Don't know why anyone would want to, especially after doing news, because usually people get triggered, not happy, which I'm guessing is in the comments. I chose not to read them because one thing that's satisfying to me is knowing that someone got triggered and left a comment and I'm never going to see it, because it's the equivalent of if you are driving in your car and you know someone wants to flip you off and you don't look over at them, they can't get satisfaction. So I enjoy that very much. All right. That's the end of part 1. It's 5:19. I'm going to come back at 5:40 and start part 2. And like I said, we're going to talk about the DUMBs, or the deep underground military bases, hollowed out mountains, the worldwide hum, data centers, and how all of those things might be included. Plus, they also might be a real world fulfillment of something the Bible says. So we'll get into that in part 2, starting at 5:40. It'll be a new live video. So if you would like to join, I will see you there. Goodbye.